Hey everybody, Dave here. Hope you're having an awesome day. So, I found this model kit at Goodwill for $1.99, and I've got this little plastic container, and I haven't made an aircraft spaceship slash futuristic thing. I don't know what it's going to be in quite a while, and I've got the itch to do it. So, come on, let's do it. All right, this is the model kit that I found for $1.99 at Goodwill. Now, whenever I find a model kit this cheap, I go ahead and snag it because a lot of times they end up being more like $5.99. So there's some great parts in here. The wings, got the tail fin, but look at this. These decals, I mean, that's worth $1.99 right there. So I'm kind of just snipping out the wings. I just want to look at the size and the scale and see how I want to attach them to this little plastic container that I have. I'll do a little bit of cleanup work. I love my BSI super glue here, but for this build, I'm going to use this extra thin Tamiya glue. It's perfect for this type of model. It's actually made exactly for this type of plastic. You can literally just run it down the seam and it seeps in, it melts the plastic together and just fuses it, and it is really nice. The super glue, the BSI glue, can get a little bit messy. So I'm kind of just sizing this up, trying to think through how I want to attach this, cleaning up the sphere just a little bit. I'm going to save this hole here for like a rocket thruster. I like the size of that, so I'll probably figure out how to do a little bit bigger hole in the front there later. Just breaking this in half just to make it a little bit more manageable. I'm going to take my snips and trim off most of the excess piece there. Now, I need to figure out how to get this to wrap around. Now, typically, I like to do this a lot. I'll wrap my sandpaper around and just kind of wear it down, but there's so much plastic here, so I thought I got to come up with another solution. So I had no clue if this would actually work, but I took some flower wire and I just kind of wrapped it around the sphere. What I'm doing is I'm trying to make a template. It kept springing out on me a little bit, so I'm going ahead and just kind of manually bending that. But I'm hoping to use this as a template on the wing itself and kind of draw that half circle. And then I'm going to go ahead and get my snips out and trim this down even more, again, just so it's a little bit more manageable. And then once I get this done, I'm going to get my Dremel out and just carefully sneak up on that line. And you can see that actually worked pretty decent, better than I thought. So now what I'm going to do is go back to the sanding and maybe just do a little bit of cleanup. Actually put the wing at a tiny bit of an angle because I want the wings to drop down a little bit. Now I had this other little plastic piece that I cut out and did for a build on a previous project, but I didn't end up using it, so I thought this will be a nice window. So I just marked kind of the template of the size that I wanted my hole to be, drilled a couple of holes to get it started because I want to cut this whole thing out, but I didn't really want to use an X-Acto knife. So again, I ended up using my Dremel and just sneaking up on that, slow and steady, and it actually turned out pretty decent. I did do a little bit of cleanup sanding afterwards, but here's that little window dropped in, and I'm going to do a little bit of light sanding just so the paint will stick to it. I have this weird little piece here. It actually came from the, I think, a Keurig coffee cup thing. I think I just ripped it out of there. So I'm gluing that on the back end. And in the model kit, there was this little jet engine thing. So I thought this was kind of cool. And it actually ended up being a really nice size to just put a little bead of glue around the edge of this little Keurig filter, glue that on. And I'm thinking about keeping this super simple. I don't want to overdo it, but that window was a little bit wimpy, that other piece that I had. So I was kind of looking at this piece here that's like a like quarter machine capsule. And I liked how it bubbled out just a little bit more. And it gave it a little bit more character and shape to the spacecraft. So I went ahead and taped off the outside because I want the outside to stay clean, because I sprayed the inside black. And then once I get all this tape off, what I'm going to do is I think I want to do a clear coat of a high gloss over the front. Now I ended up doing about 3 coats, and it is so cool. It looks like a really nice tinted window. So I'll deal with that later. I'm just forming a little bit of shape with my Dremel to put this back fin on. Just a little bead of CA glue there, gluing this on. And right now I'm not having to worry about alignment too much because I'm just dealing with the back half now. I found these little tiny fins and I thought these are kind of a nice little touch, maybe like some little stabilizer. And it's kind of taken on this little fish spacecraft kind of feel. So I'm liking this. It's kind of fun. I'm at a point now where I need to get these wings on, but I got to get the windshield in. So I'm trying to think through the process of how I want to put this all together and what I need to paint first and glue on and get in. So I'm going to go ahead and work with the wings here. I had this little bomb, but I wasn't sure if I liked it. So I just took another little piece that was, I don't even know what it was, but it has a little bit more of like a Star Wars ship kind of feel to it. And I liked it better than the bomb on the end there. So I went ahead and just ripped the bomb off, snipped that off, and glued the two symmetrical pieces. And I think it looks pretty cool. I like that. So here it is primed out. I just took a gray, I've been using an automotive primer because it's a sandable primer. And I'm just going to do my black wash right over the top of this primer because I really like the color of the gray. It does have this kind of Star Wars vibe to it. I am taking a little bit darker than like most Star Wars ships would be, but I like the darkness of this. And I thought this was kind of fun, the contrast of those two. Everything was getting kind of a little too dark, so I took this metallic silver and I just brushed that back thruster piece because I thought that's kind of cool. Maybe it looks like an old piece of metal or something. I think that metal is going to add a nice little touch to it. So here I am just doing an additional wash on the front half of this thing. Like most of my videos, put it on, take it off. I did put some tape on there just so those two pieces would click together a little bit nicer. I'm kind of looking at this thinking, how am I going to get the window in? How am I going to put the wing on? What is the order that I should do this in? I think I need to glue the window in first, and then I can go ahead and put the wing on and do the additional washes. So I'm going to do a little bit more touch up on the back there. I got a couple little pieces to paint. Those fins, I thought if I painted them kind of this construction yellow orange, the gray and the yellowish orange has a really nice vibe to it. Added a little touch to the back fin there. And again, a lot of the Star Wars ships, they have these little touches of color on their gray ships. So I thought maybe on the wings I'll add just 2 or 3 little spots, nothing crazy. So I put that on and I thought I need to add a little bit of chipping. So I took some of the gray and just did a little bit of chipping on the front of the wing and then on those little side wings that I glued on. Now here's the windshield, looks super great. I kind of got it aligned where I wanted to. I actually took a little tiny piece of clay and stuck it on the inside to help hold everything together for me. And then I took my hot glue gun and very carefully hot glued that in there. I just did a little bit first and then glued the rest, and that is looking awesome. So now I'm able to snap this together, and then once I snap it together and get everything aligned how I want it to be, now I'll be able to glue the wings on. So I just took a little bit of the CA glue and I just kind of eyeballed it, lined it up best I could, and I think it turned out pretty nice. So for the last little bit of details, I'm gonna add these decals and I'm gonna drill a little hole in the bottom of this thing and add a stand, and we'll wrap this thing up. All right, so I'm gonna be totally honest, this was actually a pretty simple and straightforward build. I always struggle with knowing how much to put on, how much to leave off. There are builders out there that can like add so many greeblies and it's just beautiful, but I feel like whenever I do that it gets really cluttered, and so this was kind of a fun one to just see how simple could I make it with as few parts but still look really great, and I think it turned out pretty cool. I got a nice little base here for it, so let's do some turnaround shots of this thing, and as always, it's a great day to be a toy nerd. Go make something awesome. Have a great one.